What's up, everybody? Before we get into the video with you guys today, we want you guys to tune in April 19th and 20th as we will be live hanging out with our boys, FAP Reactions, and our honorary use Alec as we watch WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 41 live stream. You got to be tuned in to do so. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Also, follow us on our socials to see clips and videos that we'll post leading up to the big show. But now, let's get into the video.
C2 wrestling fans, what is going on? It is your boys Snowden and CTD coming at you with another SmackDown review, hailing from London today. And it is a 4 o'clock show. Really at 8 o'clock still airs, but we caught it a little bit early, so we're going to get right into it today. Hell of an opening to Friday night SmackDown, Friday afternoon SmackDown, whatever you want to call it, Friday evening SmackDown. Did not expect Randy Orton to interrupt Cody Rhodes tonight. Now, we've talked in the past, like Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, that's a must happen feud, rivalry, matchup at the very least at some point down the line. Obviously, going into Mania season, there's already some things in motion. Did not see Randy Orton coming. What did you think about
Yeah, this show was like Booker T bookends. The beginning and end were what you needed to see. What was in the middle, you could probably skip. Uh, I was thrown off by it, like in a good way though.
it?
I was fully expecting Orton to come out and basically cut a promo saying how no one has more experience against John Cena than him. And Cody's a little overconfident. He wants him to understand that there's a reason he's called Big Match John. And although Cody right now is the face that runs the place, Cena is the greatest face to ever run the place. And it just wasn't that at all. It was just straight up Randy saying, "You're going to beat the fuck out of him. I believe in him. I believe you're going to do that. But then I'm going to come for the title." And we've had the sprinklings of Randy potentially facing Cody and glancing at the title and all of that. And we know this is a story that we will inevitably get. But is this just to kind of make you feel even more that, all right, Cody's just going to win and Cena does end up winning and we still get Orton versus Cena? Or is it, that's where we look back for when it's the main event of night two of SummerSlam and Cody Rhodes is facing Randy Orton. And that was the initial boost to the story.
First of all, I do got a comment on Tommy Boy in the background doing the RVD to the top rope
Yeah,
right
and
there.
then straight leg in the air,
Yeah.
cornhole licking. So let me put my head in front of him.
Let's
Right
block
on
that one
time.
out of the view. But back to SmackDown. Randy Orton again. I do agree. I expect him to come out and say, don't underestimate John. I've faced him a million times. This, that, whatever. But it wasn't quite that. Again, there's been little signs of Orton Cody. It's without even signs. It's a match that's going to happen eventually. I don't think this is happening that soon yet, despite this promo tonight. If you date yourself, before War Games, we had CM Punk calling out Gunther, and that never happened. I do kind of like the idea of everybody being in multiple pictures. Orton has his own thing going with Kevin Owens right now, but he's still got that eye on the title, and that's long term booking, in my opinion. After Randy Orton, we also got Drew McIntyre. And that, to me, I think is a little bit more soon than the Orton Cody feud. Now, I do got to say, last week's promo of John Cena on Raw, this little interaction with Cody, Randy, Drew, it is really starting to make me think that Cody's going to retain the title at WrestleMania. Now, he could still lose. I still would prefer him to lose, to be honest. I think he puts the title on John. But Drew versus Cody, if Drew goes over Priest at WrestleMania, that's the post-Mania feud. I almost can't really envision another post-Mania feud for Cody. Problem kind of is Drew's deserving of a run too. Is Cody going to lose the belt a month after facing heel John Cena to Drew McIntyre? I don't think so. I think if Cody's going to retain, he's going to probably hold the belt for a little bit longer. But I don't know. It is very interesting, again, to see these guys all kind of mixed in. We talked a week or two ago about certain matches being the number one contender match without really having that moniker to it, and Orton Owens, I believe, is one we talked about. Drew Priest is in that realm too. I don't think anybody's expecting Priest to win that match at WrestleMania, so I think Drew definitely goes over and then finds himself in a title feud. But the options are really endless. Again, there is still a whole world where John Cena wins the belt, and then is Drew or Orton going after John Cena for the championship? Orton is still a face, so post WrestleMania, Orton Cena, It makes sense to me.
It absolutely does. And they could still run Cody Orton if Cody retains and Orton is still a face. They don't necessarily need Orton to turn heel. Might be a little similar to the story that they just ran with Cody and Kevin Owens, and Kevin eventually turning heel on him, or even Cody and AJ Styles a little bit. Um, I don't know. I took it as like this is a seed, but at the same time, I feel like it's just to keep the confusion. Like maybe Cody is going to retain, or maybe he isn't. Like it feels more like a coin flip now than it ever did.
Yeah, it absolutely does feel more like a coin flip now than it ever did. Again, as the weeks go on, we get closer to Mania, and we don't really have John Cena slated for much until WrestleMania. I'm always going to want John to win the match, big match John, but I'm really leaning heavy Cody after what we're seeing. It seems like they're setting up a lot of stuff for Cody post WrestleMania, and it's kind of centered around the championship. So I don't know. Cody versus Orton without the championship on the line doesn't really do it for me, in all honesty, especially both them being faces. Cody versus Drew can still be a post Mania feud, but the title I still feel has to be involved. It's very interesting to see where they're going with all this. Again, tonight's SmackDown was a surprise. I didn't expect Randy Orton at all to come out during Cody's segment. I didn't expect Drew to come out. We did, to skip a little bit later into the show, have Drew and Priest have a little bit of a tit for tat backstage. Priest puts Drew through a windshield. CM Punk walks by. I thought that was pretty funny to see. Drew and Priest, again, not the craziest match. Maybe I love it. These are two guys that I'm a big fan of. I know we've seen and discussed some of the hate towards this match, which I don't understand. It's there. I don't get it. But Priest has got to take the L here. Drew's got to go over big and hopefully wins a championship soon. I'm going to be honest. I'm starting to like Drew's got to have a championship around his waist.
Yeah, they both also feel like people pretend that they're not at the level that they are. Like we've gone this entire time, we haven't even mentioned that Drew beat Randy Orton tonight. He pinned him.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that is Priest barely loses. Drew, all right, yes, he lost the series against Punk, but Drew's kind of in that spot where like he doesn't really lose because he is so marquee. Like, yeah, he loses to Jay or whatever. Like he's still going to hold his value even if he loses matches. So a Priest versus Drew matchup to me, like to compare it to the UFC, this feels like your number 3 versus number 5 ranked guy in a division. And these are two of the top guys. It just so happens that the champion at that time is like one of the most dominant champions. This is, the Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier matchup where these guys could become champion at any moment. They're legit as can be. So I love it. I love the matchup. I know people will shit on it, but they'll fucking shit on anything nowadays. So who cares?
They will literally shit on anything nowadays. So who cares? But speaking of champions, we did get a championship match tonight. LA
Got
Knight
two.
versus, we did get two. That's correct. LA Knight versus Braun Strowman, more specifically, is what I was going to get into next. And it's kind of less about LA Knight versus Braun Strowman and more about who interfered in that matchup. And that is our boy Jacob Fatu. Now, there is still a world where we're getting Fatu versus Solo at WrestleMania. I still very much can see that happening, but I didn't expect Fatu to be involved in this matchup tonight, to be honest. I thought they were already kind of taking him a little bit away from the US title picture to set him up with Solo. So having him come out tonight makes me kind of think maybe he's going to be involved in the US title match. Maybe we're going to get another multi-man Braun versus LA versus Fatu versus Solo. Maybe Shinsuke finds himself back in the mix somewhere. Jimmy Uso's had a couple bouts with LA Knight. Braun Strowman didn't get the win. He didn't get the loss. So in theory, he deserves another shot. So that kind of puts him on paper for another shot, maybe at WrestleMania. But I don't know. Jacob Fatu, though, as much as I would love the turn with Solo, again, the I hate you Solo moment is going to go so hard. I would love to see some gold around that guy's waist, too. There's so much talk about titles changing hands at WrestleMania. LA Knight has been fantastic. Second U.S. title run. Doesn't have to be a long run. Hot potato that U.S. title. Put it on Jacob Fatu.
I'm not convinced they end up in the U.S. title match. I kind of have a
Yeah.
gut feeling. It seems that Fatu and Strowman are going to face off in a last man standing match. I kind of have this gut feeling that Solo's turn is happening before Fatu gets his title shot. Now, it could happen within the title match. It could be that multi-man match that you're referring to, and Solo ends up costing Fatu. Do I think that'll happen? No. It is still very similar to what's going on Raw then with the Judgment Day and the Intercontinental title. I think this, I've felt pretty confident that they would still end up going with Solo versus Fatu at Mania. I think that still ends up happening with the Solo turn happening before Mania and costing Fatu in some way. What's kind of, I don't want to say flown under the radar, but not appreciated much. Shocker, shocker. People don't appreciate something much. I love that this is emphasis on the United States title. Like Jacob
Mhm.
Fatu is as money as it gets. And him and Solo's relationship is fractured right now because of Solo costing Jacob his shot at winning the United States Championship. And was Nakamura's title reign good? No. Any of his fault? Probably not. But now that it's back on LA Knight, someone who's on every single week, you have this multitude of people going for it with Braun Strowman, potentially Solo, Jacob Fatu, Jimmy. That title already is back to being elevated. And I think we get Solo versus Jacob one on one still. But the fact that this story's like nucleus now is because of the United States Championship elevates the story and elevates the title.
Absolutely. You know, the booking of Fatu winning the US title at WrestleMania, even though he's kind of involved, it's still kind of fantasy booking. You know, I agree. I also don't really predict that happening. Solo versus Fatu makes more sense. LA Knight defending the championship against who knows who at this point makes more sense. Fatu, though, being involved at all, again, it does heighten that US championship, which people love to complain when the championship is not involved or not on TV. But the moment it is, people don't realize that this is what you asked for, you know? And then again, it's not going to be on TV in a few weeks. People are going to complain again. It's the endless cycle of it all. Fatu versus Solo. If you take them out of the U.S. title picture, listen, I love Jimmy. I love LA Knight. Braun Strowman's good. Don't get me wrong. Shinsuke's cool. That U.S. title picture is probably, it's getting heightened right now, but it's still maybe on the more lackluster side of other title feuds going into WrestleMania. There's other names. There's Carmelo Hayes. There's Andrade. There's people like that that you can add to this title picture. There's also an up and comer, a new superstar next week by the name of Rey Fenix. We've talked over the last couple of weeks. Are they going to debut him before Mania, post WrestleMania? It's very rare for them to run a vignette 4 or 5 weeks before WrestleMania for a new superstar. And they did it. They did not just run one tonight. They announced it's next week. So we are getting Rey Fenix, what, 2 or 3 weeks before WrestleMania? Are they going to
Yeah.
slingshot him right into something? If you're gonna, the U.S. title picture makes sense. I mean, what else would you really put him in that gets him on the Mania card? I can't imagine within 3 weeks Rey Fenix feuds with Carmelo and we get Rey versus Carmelo one-on-one at WrestleMania. That doesn't add up to me as much as the excess superstars kind of being thrown into the Andre Battle Royal if they run that again, and then maybe Rey Fenix finds himself in the mix with the U.S. title.
Yeah, him debuting next week and it's 2 weeks before Mania. It is kind of interesting. Not saying I don't want Ray Phoenix on the Mania card, but I'm almost in like a bit of a conundrum with it all. Like I obviously love Ray Phoenix. I really don't need a multi-man match for the US title. Like
Agreed.
you and I, we as much as we want the triple threat main event that we'll get to in a minute, as much as we like multi-person matches when done right, when necessary, I don't think every title match needs to be a multi-person match just to get people on the card. So like I would even be cool if it just ended up being LA Knight versus Jimmy one on one. I'd be cool with that. Like I would rock with that. Phoenix, as much as I'd like to see him on Mania, a piece of me would then have to have that mindset of like, this is cool, excited for the match, but there's that one person who gets left off of Mania because of it, who's been on every single week, who probably deserves the spot a little bit more. And you give it to a guy who just debuted 2 weeks before and you just throw him right in. Like, for instance, to Carmelo Hayes, where it seems like he's destined for probably an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and a backstage segment at Mania. That very well could have been him in that role facing LA Knight one on one, and it would have been, I don't want to say more deserving because it sounds like I'm slighting Phoenix. I do love Phoenix, but it's just the logistics of a guy debuting 2 weeks before, and there's plenty of people on the roster that might not be on the card.
I absolutely agree. And I'm a full blown day one Carmelo Hayes supporter. Absolutely love Carmelo. There's nothing wrong with him being in the Andre Battle Royal this year. There's other things going on. It's okay. If he doesn't make the Mania cut, it's not, oh my God, what are they doing? It's, hey, he's still around. He's still in the Battle Royal. There's guys that might not even be in that Battle Royal. So it's not the biggest deal. You're kind of shoehorning Ray Phoenix in if you put him on that Mania card. You compare it to the IC title where Dom and Finn have been at odds for ages now. Penta's been feuding with Dom and Finn. Braun's been feuding with Dom and Finn. Braun and Penta have been feuding. It's all connected. It's a few weeks, a month, really, of storytelling that makes sense. You have Phoenix come out next week. Braun in LA and Fatu have been feuding, and Ray Phoenix gets thrown into the mix. It's just kind of shoehorned in there, and it's not super necessary. I love that he's debuting. Big fan. I think you have him debut in a similar style to Penta, just kind of go over a couple people. 20-minute banger next week. It's a 3-hour show. They got plenty of fucking time. There was a little bit of some dragging moments even tonight, so it's not the biggest deal. Ray Phoenix, which I do got to mention, we even texted a little bit briefly about this. Very surprised he's not going by just Phoenix. I wanted to mention that. Pentagon Jr., Dark. He's had so many aliases over his career. Ray Phoenix has always been Ray, Phoenix, or Phoenix. I didn't think they were going to go with Ray Phoenix with a Ray Mysterio in the building, but that's maybe more the Vince regime. Vince would have never let there be two Rays in masks. I feel like that's a fact. But debut him next week, put him over a guy or two, have him post WrestleMania, get some spike, find the mid-card division championship match, whatever it may be. Hold him off. Don't need him at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and the mid-card titles, as much as the booking hasn't been the greatest thing these last 2 months for them, the names that have been involved have been quite good. And adding a Ray Phoenix to the mix just adds to the prestige of that title, given the name going after it and the level that it should be looked at. Going from that U.S. title to the women's U.S. title, Chelsea Green, pretty clear her and Zelina Vega. That is the next story for Chelsea Green as the U.S. champion. Tonight, the Secret Hervis take on Kaden Carter, Katana Chance. They step up to the plate to be Zelina's help, I guess you could say. Does not go well. Secret Hervis give them the work. And to be honest, that's how it should go. They haven't been on in, they even said it like they were last time when they lost the women's tag titles like a year ago. Like, I don't even remember the date, but he said 2024. I know that. Pretty much established, like, this is not the pair that's going to be able to help Zelina, whether it's in 6-woman tag or it's to be by her side when she takes on Chelsea Green. I do, though, have a feeling that there are two people that could help Zelina Vega, and their names are big enough to do it at WrestleMania.
Their names are big enough to do it at WrestleMania. I'm going to hand it off to you and let you make the announcement of who you think it's going to be. But I think you should put this YouTube video into a certain mode first, if that makes any sense.
I think we need to take this video and go into pre-mode.
No, listen. There has been some Bella's discourse since the Royal Rumble. Nikki obviously returned. You are a Brie Bella, a Nikki Bella fan. I am not a Brie Bella and Nikki Bella fan. Do I understand why they would involve the Bellas for WrestleMania? Absolutely. I get it. Why not? I don't think Chelsea versus Zelina is a one-on-one match for WrestleMania this year. I think they're more setting up for the 6-woman tag of the Secret Hervis versus Zelina Vega and co. It ain't Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. We'll double down on that one. I forgot they were even around. I forgot they were even tag team champions, so I'm being honest. Who else? Who else, really? Who else is Zelina going to find but the Bellas. How else do you add a little bit more of name value to a marquee WrestleMania? You sign back Brie Bella and Nikki Bella.
I'm going to come clean. I'm going to be honest. This isn't C2 Wrestling predicting the future. I may have been sent a video that essentially leaked the WrestleMania entrance for the Bellas. So, people watching, if you're still tuned in, here is the leaked entrance for WrestleMania 41 of Nikki and Brie, the Bella Twins.
Man, I can't believe you got that footage. That's great. I mean, it's clear as day. You know, it's not even us predicting. It's factual at this point. Brie Bella and Nikki Bella clearly are making their entrance at WrestleMania.
This phone is very powerful. I'm just saying.
We'll see. You know, it's definitely shaping up to be WrestleMania. There's always going to be a couple names that come back, you know, even if it's just for spots backstage, segments in the ring, or a match. If Nikki Bella says, "Hey, I want back," they're going to bring back Nikki Bella. They're going to bring back Brie. It seems pretty evident they've wanted back for a little while as well. I would be surprised if they come back and it's not anything less than a one-off. They're coming back, I think. I think the Bellas are going to be around for a little bit longer.
Don't get my hopes up, Snowden. Don't get my hopes up, Snowden. Before we get out of here, though, I mentioned this was a bookend show. The opposite end of the bookend. Another, you know, I wouldn't say this is the greatest segment ever, but quite a cliffhanger. Our main event of night one officially announced. The people are crying. They're crying. This match, it has nothing at stake.
Wow.
Every wrestling match ever has to have a title or some sort of stipulation or something. Can't just be three people that hate each other like every other wrestling match that happens. But confirmed, main event, WrestleMania, night one, Saturday, whatever the hell they want to call it, this year, April 9th. Is 19th the Saturday? Or
19th, yep.
April 19th. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and the first-time WrestleMania main eventer, CM Punk. But they ended on the cliffhanger, Snowden. It's not the favor that Punk is owed.
It is not the favor that Punk is owed. So, I mean, you know, we watch the show every week. We watch Raw, we watch NXT, we watch SmackDown, we watch all things in between. So it's as clear as day that CM Punk is going to walk out night two as WWE champion. He's clearly going to go against Cody Rhodes and John Cena in a triple threat and beat both of them to win the championship. I mean, come on, guys. Get fucking real. I don't understand.
And then on Monday, he's gonna be the winner of Jey Uso versus Gunther and become the world champion as well, just because Nick Aldis, you know, promised him a favor, and you know, and then Adam Pearce promised him a favor, and you know, now he's got two titles and a main event and whatever. We're just living in La La Land now.
We are living in La La Land. It's insane to see some crazy wrestling takes. We have all made crazy wrestling takes, us included. But you gotta have a sense of like realism with it. Like there are just things that are gonna happen and things that are not gonna happen. What kind of pull does Paul Heyman have? Like, what does Paul Heyman, the general manager? Is he the new CEO? Like, I understand what these people think. It does obviously offer the question: what is the favor then? If the favor's not the main event, the favor might be the helping hand in winning the main event. Are we really going to get the Paul Heyman turn on Roman Reigns and he aligns himself with CM Punk? I don't hate it. I'm not necessarily signing off on it. It seems so crazy for me to picture Roman without Heyman at this point in time. Roman could do it. Roman's obviously the GOAT, but they are like a package deal at this point in time. I almost can't envision Roman being around for the rest of his career without Paul Heyman at his side.
See, I don't think Heyman's going to join Punk. just because I don't think Punk is turning heel for a feud with Roman Reigns. If they're going to do Punk and Reigns one on one, Punk's going to stay the face and Roman's going to stay the heel. That's my opinion. I could see the favor being, you know, Heyman helps Punk or Heyman doesn't help Reigns or whatever that may be. Or maybe it's he, I don't know, helps keep the bloodline away. Who knows? I'm spitballing here. I don't think it leads to a Punk Heyman reunion. Now, let's be honest here. It is not entirely impossible that we see what the favor is. We're seeing it play out in our eyes. And Heyman screws Punk over in that aspect and helps Roman win the match, whatever it may be. Say that favor is to hand him a lead pipe during the, I don't know. Whatever that favor may be, it is not just a foregone conclusion that Heyman actually follows through on that favor and doesn't screw over Punk and help Roman beat him and prolong the new feud of CM Punk versus Roman Reigns one-on-one.
I'm glad you bring it up because that was going to be the latter of what I was going to say, is that I haven't really seen it considered that Paul Heyman doesn't give CM Punk the favor. CM Punk expects it, but what if Paul Heyman's just kind of bluffing it this entire time? Pulls out that chair from under the ring and goes to slide it to CM Punk, but pulls it back, or slides it to Roman, slides it to fucking Rollins for all I know, honestly. I don't think people have really considered that as a possibility. It wouldn't surprise me. That would, I would say, would be the avenue to go. The way SmackDown ended, it offers a bunch of ideas, or is there a triple threat where, Roman somehow gets out of the match, whether it's via injury or who knows what, and then Heyman helps Punk win so Rollins just doesn't win? I don't quite know where they're going. I do agree, in the world of a Punk-Roman feud, Punk stays face, Roman stays heel, tweener, whatever he kind of is right now. The faces right now that we got in this company, Cody, Jay, Punk, like, these guys are moving merch. They're not turning. They're staying this way for a little bit longer, okay? There's not that there's not money in a CM Punk heel turn. There absolutely is, but it's not needed at this point in time. This definitely opens the door for a lot more possibilities, which I'm happy with, because I didn't know where this match was going already. Now I really don't know where it's going. That whole favor I thought was going to be either CM Punk getting inserted into the match and making it a triple threat, or I want this to be the main event. Now that they have made it blatant that it's not those things, who knows? Who knows what it can be?
Yep, and you still have the Rollins aspect of this match where you can really open up a multitude of avenues where Rollins is talking about kind of working together with Roman, and he's mad that Roman's put them in this situation. And Roman is talking about how they will never work together, whatever that may be. So I'm more interested. I mean, I've always had trust in this storyline. I think it's a vocal minority who bitch about it. And the funniest part too is the people who complain about Jay Gunther. So it's like, you want that to main event? Oh, they also complain about Charlotte Tiffy. You want that to main event? It's like, well, that they also complain about the triple threat of the women. You want that to main event? Like, what, do you just want no main event? The show ends with a promo? Like, well, come on.
Yeah, there's always something to bitch about. If they can't bitch about all those things, Carmelo Hayes is getting buried. I don't know. There's just always something.
Exactly.
Always something to dig deep. Again, it's vocal minority, but whether it's minority or majority, we want all of you here. C2 Wrestling, April 19th and 20th, FAP Reactions reunion, us, the boys, and the honorary Oos Alec. It's going to be an absolute blast. You got to stay tuned in. Turn on those notifications, subscribe, follow us on all the social media. You ain't going to want to miss out.